Hello and welcome to the Express Debate. I'm Ian Collins. Now, how safe is your pension? Will your pension be worth what you think it should be in years to come? Is there a pension crisis even? To discuss this is the co-founder of Seven Investment, Justin Urquhart-Stewart, and the founder of Money Magpie, Jasmine Birtles. Justin, first of all, is there a pension crisis?
It's not so much a pension crisis, it's just a savings crisis. Because remember, a pension is just a wrapper, like an ISA is a wrapper. It's actually what you put in it and the amount of money you put aside. Unfortunately, what's happened over the years is no one's told us what to do, so people haven't been saving, and people had this expectation that, oh, well, my company pension will cover it, or my government pension will cover it. And of course, since that, what's happened is everything has retreated. Company pensions aren't what they were, often don't exist anymore, some have gone bust. And of course the government pension scheme, well, if you're going to rely upon that, I think there are better things to do in life. Meanwhile, no one started saving, whether in a pension or not in a pension. That's what we've got to change.
And of course, Jasmine, it's a catch-all phrase, the pension.
Yes.
But there are different types of pensions. There's your state pension that you're entitled to when you retire. There's the private pension you might have taken out yourself from the high street. And then, of course, there's the pensions that may come through the workplace.
Yeah, there are a whole host of different types of pensions now, which is a good thing if you know what you're doing. But as Justin says, most of us, firstly, we don't really know very much about money at all, let alone pensions. And secondly, nobody's shown us how to save, not just in pensions, but in other things, because you don't just have to have a pension for your retirement fund. It could be all sorts of things. It could be ISAs, could be other investments, could be property, could be Barbie dolls, you know, all kinds of things, just so long as you've got a big chunk of money that you can use when you come to retire.
And rather than just this arbitrary figure, people mentally think, oh, I'll put 80 quid a month, I'll put £100 a month into something.
Yeah.
I hit retirement, it's going to pay me £6,000 a year. Okay, it's not what was, it wasn't that money that was there before, but it's not enough to retire on, really.
No, and that's the thing, you know, if you just put this a little bit of in and do it regularly, and regularity is a really, really helpful part of it, then even if you've only got small amounts, over time, it will grow to something really quite extraordinary. It's setting up a standing order at the beginning of the month. When you get paid, pay yourself first.
Sure.
And then,
because that's what you're doing, is you're paying yourself.
Paying your future self. And then I learn gradually to live on less.
And this is what's happened in Australia. They brought in compulsory pensions a few years ago. And it was very unpopular to start with. But then when they hit the first financial crisis, everyone turned around and said, where's my... Good heavens, look what I've got. I've saved all this money. Yeah. So there's a country with a relatively small population with a fantastic pension scheme. And we're playing catch-up now.
Okay. What can I do now? You know, you might be 60, 65. Are there other options you can still pursue even in retirement?
Actually, what now is going to happen, the annuities aren't there as a compulsion anymore. So therefore, you take your money. Now you've got to find a way of investing that. And this is going to be a crucial issue. Because people don't understand much about the investing world either. So be wary, there are sharks out there.
Oh, yeah.
So now we need to have a long, slow method of being able to invest that money over maybe 10, 15, even 20 years' time. Because if I'm retiring at 60, 65, we're all living to 85, 90. That money's got to see us through. This is no time to buy a Lamborghini, and it's no time to bet on the horses.
And that's the thing, as Justin says, you know, we are living a long time. You're looking at, I mean, an average of 20 years at least. And if you say that the national average wage is about, what, 25 grand, something like that. So if you'd like to live on, and who wouldn't, you know, at least the national average wage, 25,000 times 20, it's a lot of money, you know, that ideally you're going to have to try and find from somewhere. And also possibly earning a bit. In fact, a lot of third agers set up their own businesses in their 60s, even 70s, and they tend to do very well because they've got capital behind them, they've got a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge. And I'm a great advocate of everybody doing something creative and interesting to make some money for themselves.
So we've got to get more savvy, haven't we? Because if you start adding up all the figures, I mean, it becomes quite bewildering, doesn't it? If you the state pension and what's required just to fund all of the state pensions, all of the state sector worker pensions that go along with that, all the private pension, you think, hang on, is there physically enough money in the world? And this is just one country.
Well, increasingly, no.
To feed all of that.
No, there isn't. And as you say, we are just one country. We are part of the whole sort of Western malaise, if you like. And this is really the very large majority of the deficit. You know, the biggest payout that we have is pensions, and it's growing. The next one is housing benefit. So it's essential that we get the whole pension things, particularly the state pension, sorted, because it's not going to go away. We are lasting a lot longer.
So you don't think there's a crisis at the moment, Justin, but how do you think, as a country, we avoid a potential crisis? What's got to happen?
What's got to happen is, first of all, we need to get a proper educational process so people understand what they have to do. Then we get them into the method whereby they're starting to save on a regular basis inside their pension, because they get a tax break for it, but also inside an ISA, because that can be helpful as well. Then having a greater appreciation of actually what's going on inside it, and the industry itself needs to communicate that better to the clients, to the investors themselves, so they can see it in words they would understand, not in a huge great document 32 pages later by which time you've fallen asleep, but a simple mechanism on your iPad clearly showing you how far I've got, how much more do I need to save, and I can almost track it along a graph and see, am I ahead of schedule or behind schedule? That way it gives me the one word that runs the economy: confidence. And if I've got the confidence to be all right, then I'm okay. At the moment, we're all sitting there looking at a blank screen.
And Jasmine, on the back of that, what would you say to people who, firstly, are starting a pension? What should they look for? What are the pitfalls? What are the good areas to look ahead to? And also those whose pensions are just coming up to fruition, as it were.
Well, I would say, certainly, as Justin says, get some information. It is tiresome if you haven't been taught at school, and most of us haven't. I certainly wasn't. And I would be bolder. Most people are very afraid of investments, so they put their money in things like savings accounts, premium bonds, and maybe property. So, you know, by playing it safe, you're actually losing. So be a lot bolder, I would say.
That's what we have to do. Be prepared to take a little bit more risk, to be able to get that compounding and give it as much time as you possibly can. And that way, we're all going to be better off.
Jasmine, Justin, thank you. Join us again for the next Express Debate. Bye-bye.